Question 1. During a critical project involving developing a new medical device, the project manager discovers that a key regulatory requirement, initially overlooked in the planning phase, will significantly impact the project's timeline and budget. The project is currently in its execution phase. What should be the project manager's immediate next step after identifying this new requirement? I. Inform the development team to incorporate the changes into their current tasks. B. Update the project schedule and budget to reflect the impact. C. Initiate a change request and follow the integrated change control process. D. Communicate the issue directly to the project sponsor and request more funds. Answer: C. Initiate a change request and follow the integrated change control process. When a new requirement or significant issue with an impact on scope, schedule, or cost is identified during project execution, the project manager must first initiate a formal change request. This ensures that the potential changes are properly documented, reviewed, and approved by the appropriate stakeholders through the integrated change control process. Adhering to this process is crucial for maintaining project baselines and preventing scope creep, as unauthorized changes can destabilize the project. Always remember to follow the established change control procedure to manage any deviations from the approved project plan. Question 2. A Scrum team is consistently failing to meet its sprint commitments, despite team members working overtime. The product owner is pressuring the team to increase velocity, while the Scrum Master is observing growing discontent and burnout. Which of the following is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master to take? I. Facilitate a discussion with the team to re-estimate remaining backlog items. B. Coach the product owner on the importance of sustainable pace and realistic expectations. C. Escalate the issue to functional management to address individual performance concerns. D. Reduce the scope of future sprints without consulting the product owner. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the importance of sustainable pace and realistic expectations. The Scrum Master's role involves coaching both the team and the product owner to ensure Agile principles are followed and the team operates effectively. In this scenario, the consistent failure to meet commitments and the pressure to increase velocity point to an issue with unrealistic expectations or an unsustainable pace, which the product owner might be driving. Coaching the product owner on the importance of a sustainable pace helps set realistic expectations for sprint planning and protects the team from burnout, fostering a healthier and more productive environment. Remember, the Scrum Master acts as a servant leader, removing impediments and facilitating good Agile practices. Question 3. A project manager is leading a large, complex infrastructure project. Midway through, key stakeholders express concerns that the project deliverables are not aligning with their evolving business needs, despite previously approving the project's scope. The project manager has been diligently following the approved scope baseline. Which performance domain is most likely underaddressed, contributing to this stakeholder dissatisfaction? I. Team performance domain. B. Delivery performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Stakeholder performance domain. Answer: D. Stakeholder performance domain. The stakeholder performance domain focuses on activities and functions associated with engaging stakeholders, which includes understanding their evolving needs and expectations throughout the project lifecycle. Even with an approved scope, if stakeholders feel their needs are not being met, it indicates a failure in continuous engagement and managing their expectations. Effective stakeholder engagement goes beyond initial approval. It requires ongoing communication, active listening, and adapting engagement strategies as the project progresses to ensure their continued satisfaction and support. Always prioritize active and continuous stakeholder engagement to keep the project aligned with their evolving interests. Question 4. During a project's execution, a critical risk materializes, impacting the project schedule significantly. The project manager implemented the predefined contingency plan, which helped mitigate some immediate effects but did not fully resolve the issue. What should the project manager do next? I. Update the risk register with the new status and close the risk. B. Perform an impact analysis and raise a change request if necessary. C. Revert to the original plan and ignore the residual risk. D. Inform the team to work overtime to catch up on the schedule. Answer, B. Perform an impact analysis and raise a change request if necessary. When a risk materializes and the contingency plan doesn't fully resolve the issue, residual risk remains, or the impact is greater than anticipated. The project manager must perform a thorough impact analysis to understand the full extent of the problem on scope, schedule, cost, and quality. Based on this analysis, a change request should be raised if the project baselines are affected, following the integrated change control process to seek approval for necessary adjustments. This structured approach ensures all impacts are considered and appropriate actions are taken to keep the project on track, demonstrating proactive risk management. Question 5. A project team is struggling with frequent changes to requirements, leading to rework and delays. The project manager is considering adopting an adaptive life cycle approach. Which of the following conditions best supports the adoption of an adaptive life cycle for managing these requirements? I. The project has a fixed budget and a clearly defined scope from the outset. B. Requirements are well understood and unlikely to change significantly. C. Stakeholders are available for frequent feedback and collaboration. D. The project involves a large, stable team with highly specialized skills. Answer, C. Stakeholders are available for frequent feedback and collaboration. Adaptive life cycles, such as Agile approaches, are particularly well suited for projects where requirements are uncertain, evolving, or difficult to define upfront. The core strength of these approaches lies in their iterative nature and reliance on continuous stakeholder engagement. Frequent feedback and collaboration from stakeholders enable the team to validate assumptions, clarify requirements, and incorporate changes incrementally, ensuring the delivered product remains aligned with evolving needs. This continuous interaction helps manage uncertainty and delivers value more effectively than a rigid plan in dynamic environments. Question 6. The project team is in the process of estimating activity durations. They have identified pessimistic, O, most likely, M, and optimistic, P, estimates for several activities. For activity X, the estimates are O equals 10 days, M equals 15 days, P equals 20 days. Using the triangular distribution, what is the expected duration for activity X? I. 10 days. B. 15 days. C. 67 days. D. 18 days. Answer, B. 15 days. The triangular distribution formula for calculating the expected duration is optimistic plus most likely plus pessimisticity, /3. In this case, for activity X, the optimistic estimate, O, is 10 days, the most likely estimate, M, is 15 days, and the pessimistic estimate, P, is 20 days. Plugging these values into the formula, 10 plus 15 plus 20, /3 is equal to 45 /3 is equal to 15 days. This method provides a simple average estimate when there's uncertainty, offering a single point estimate for planning purposes. This technique is useful when historical data is limited but expert judgment is available. Question 7. A project manager is nearing the end of a project. All deliverables have been accepted by the customer, and final payments have been received. The project team has been disbanded. What is the primary remaining activity for the project manager to complete? I. Conduct a final project performance review with the sponsor. B. Close out all project procurements. C. Update organizational process assets with lessons learned. D. Prepare the final project report for archiving. Answer, C. Update organizational process assets with lessons learned. Even after deliverables are accepted and payments received, the formal closure of a project involves several crucial steps, with updating organizational process assets being paramount. Documenting lessons learned from throughout the project's lifecycle provides valuable insights for future projects, preventing similar mistakes and promoting best practices within the organization. While other activities like closing procurements and archiving reports are also part of project closure, capturing and disseminating lessons learned is a critical contribution to organizational knowledge management and continuous improvement. Always ensure lessons learned are formalized and shared to benefit future endeavors. Question 8. A newly formed Agile team is struggling with collaboration and self-organization. Team members tend to work in silos, and there's a lack of shared understanding regarding sprint goals. The Scrum Master notices that the daily stand-up meetings are primarily status updates to the Scrum Master rather than collaborative planning sessions. What should the Scrum Master prioritize to improve the team's effectiveness? I. Implement stricter rules for daily stand-up attendance and reporting. B. Reassign tasks to ensure better utilization of individual team member skills. C. Coach the team on the purpose of the daily scrum and facilitate better interaction. D. Escalate the lack of collaboration to the functional managers for intervention. Answer, C. Coach the team on the purpose of the daily scrum and facilitate better interaction. The daily scrum is a key Agile ceremony designed to foster collaboration and transparency within the development team, allowing them to synchronize activities and plan for the next 24 hours. If the team is treating it as a status report to the Scrum Master, it indicates a misunderstanding of its purpose and a lack of self-organization. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the team on Agile practices, facilitate effective communication, and empower them to solve their own problems. By guiding them to use the daily Scrum as a collaborative planning meeting, the Scrum Master can significantly improve teamwork and shared understanding. Question 9. A project manager is reviewing the current project status and notes that the Cost Performance Index, CPI, is 0, 90 and the Schedule Performance Index, SPI, is 1, 10. What do these values primarily indicate about the project's current performance? I. The project is over budget and behind schedule. B. The project is under budget and ahead of schedule. C. The project is over budget and ahead of schedule. D. The project is under budget and behind schedule. Answer, C. The project is over budget and ahead of schedule. In earned value management, the Cost Performance Index, CPI, measures the cost efficiency of the work completed, and an index less than 1, like 0, 90, indicates that the project is over budget, meaning it is costing more than planned. The Schedule Performance Index, SPI, measures the schedule efficiency, and an index greater than 1, like 1, 10, indicates that the project is ahead of schedule, meaning work is progressing faster than planned. Therefore, a CPI of 0, 90 and an SPI of 1, 10 together signify that the project is currently over budget but ahead of its planned schedule. Question 10. During a project's execution, a critical component supplier announces an unexpected 2-month delay due to unforeseen logistical issues. The project manager has already identified this type of delay as a high-impact risk in the risk register but did not have a specific contingency plan defined beyond general reserves. What is the most appropriate next step? I. Immediately inform the project sponsor and key stakeholders about the delay and its impact. B. Allocate additional budget from the management reserve to expedite other project activities. C. Convene the project team to identify and analyze potential response options to mitigate the impact. D. Update the risk register to reflect that the risk has materialized and close it. Answer, C. Convene the project team to identify and analyze potential response options to mitigate the impact. When a risk materializes and a specific contingency plan is absent or insufficient, the project manager must proactively develop a workaround. This involves bringing the project team together to brainstorm and analyze various options to mitigate the impact of the materialized risk. Engaging the team leverages their expertise to find creative solutions and assess the feasibility and cost-effectiveness of each. Once options are identified, their impact can be assessed, and then a change request might be initiated, followed by communication to stakeholders. Question 11. A project manager is leading a project where the primary goal is to innovate and create a completely new product for an emerging market. The requirements are highly uncertain, and the technology to be used is still evolving. Which project life cycle approach would be most suitable for this type of project? I. Predictive life cycle. B. Iterative life cycle. C. Incremental life cycle. D. Hybrid life cycle. Answer, B. Iterative life cycle. An iterative life cycle is best suited for projects with high uncertainty, especially concerning requirements and technology, as it allows for repeated cycles of planning, analysis, design, and development. This approach facilitates learning and refinement with each iteration, gradually clarifying requirements and achieving a better understanding of the solution. Unlike an incremental approach which delivers usable subsets, iterative approaches prioritize learning and refinement through multiple cycles before a final delivery, making it ideal for innovative products with evolving specifications. It allows for exploration and adaptation without the pressure of delivering a complete, usable product at each step. Question 12. The project manager identifies several key deliverables that require review and approval by external regulatory bodies before they can be released. This process is known to be lengthy and involves specific documentation. Which project management knowledge area is most directly concerned with managing these external dependencies and ensuring compliance? I. Project communications management. B. Project quality management. C. Project risk management. D. Project procurement management. Answer, B. Project quality management. Project quality management primarily focuses on ensuring that the project and its deliverables meet the defined quality requirements and stakeholder expectations. This includes not only internal quality standards but also external regulatory compliance. Managing external regulatory approvals, which involve specific documentation and processes, falls under ensuring the quality and fitness for use of the deliverables, as well as adherence to applicable standards. While communication and risk are involved, the core concern of meeting external standards for release directly relates to quality assurance. Question 13. A project team is implementing a new customer relationship management (CRM) system. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that the user interface, while functional, is not intuitive and will require significant user training. The product owner acknowledges the feedback and agrees it is a valid concern for user adoption. What is the most appropriate next step for the product owner regarding this feedback? I. Add a new user story to the product backlog addressing the user interface improvements. B. Defer the feedback to a later phase, as the current sprint goal was to deliver functionality. C. Instruct the development team to immediately stop current work and fix the user interface. D. Document the feedback and present it to the steering committee for a decision. Answer, I. Add a new user story to the product backlog addressing the user interface improvements. In an Agile environment, feedback from sprint reviews is crucial for continuous improvement and ensuring the product meets stakeholder needs. When valid feedback is received that impacts the product's value, the product owner's primary responsibility is to manage the product backlog. Adding a new user story to the product backlog allows the feedback to be prioritized against other features and improvements, ensuring it's considered for future sprints based on its value and feasibility, rather than immediately disrupting ongoing work. This maintains the flexibility and adaptability inherent in Agile methodologies. Question 14. A project manager is using a control chart to monitor the quality of a manufactured component. The chart shows several data points consistently above the upper control limit, UCL. What does this indicate? I. The process is stable and performing within acceptable limits. B. The process is out of control and requires immediate investigation for assignable causes. C. The process is exhibiting normal variation and no action is needed. D. The process is performing better than expected, indicating continuous improvement. Answer, B. The process is out of control and requires immediate investigation for assignable causes. A control chart is a statistical process control tool used to determine if a manufacturing or business process is in a state of statistical control. When data points consistently fall outside the upper control limit, UCL, or lower control limit, LCL, it indicates that the process is out of control and experiencing special, assignable, causes of variation, rather than just common, random, causes. This signals a need for immediate investigation to identify the root cause of the deviation and take corrective action to bring the process back into control and prevent further defects. Question 15. The project team has delivered a prototype that meets all initially defined technical specifications. However, during user testing, it becomes apparent that while technically sound, the prototype does not adequately address the end user's daily workflow challenges, leading to low adoption rates. This situation best highlights a gap in which project management area. I. Scope validation. B. Quality control. C. Requirements traceability. D. Risk management. Answer, I. Scope validation. Scope validation is the process of formalizing acceptance of the completed project deliverables by the appropriate stakeholders. While the prototype met technical specifications, which relates to quality control, its failure to address end-user workflow challenges indicates that the validated scope, what the users truly needed and would accept, was not fully achieved or understood. This suggests a disconnect between the technical implementation and the actual user needs, which should have been uncovered and rectified during stakeholder acceptance and verification of the deliverables against business value. Successful scope validation ensures that deliverables are not only built correctly but are also the correct solution. Question 16. A complex project involves multiple external vendors providing specialized components. The project manager needs to ensure that the contracts with these vendors include appropriate performance incentives and penalties to encourage timely delivery and high quality. Which project management knowledge area is primarily responsible for establishing and managing these contractual agreements? I. Project communications management. B. Project resource management. C. Project procurement management. D. Project stakeholder management. Answer, C. Project procurement management. Project procurement management is the knowledge area that includes the processes necessary to purchase or acquire products, services, or results needed from outside the project team. This encompasses all aspects of contract management, including planning for procurement, conducting procurements, selecting sellers and awarding contracts, and controlling procurements, managing contract relationships, monitoring performance, and making changes. Therefore, establishing performance incentives and penalties within contracts with external vendors is a core activity within project procurement management to ensure successful external collaborations. Question 17. A project manager is facilitating a retrospective meeting. The team identifies that a recurring issue leading to delays is the incomplete definition of done for user stories, causing confusion and rework at the end of sprints. What is the most effective immediate action for the Scrum Master, or Project Manager acting as facilitator, to recommend? I. Create a detailed project plan to track all tasks more rigorously. B. Assign a dedicated quality assurance person to review all completed work. C. Facilitate the team in collaboratively defining a clear and concise definition of done. D. Coach individual team members on improving their personal work quality. Answer, C. Facilitate the team in collaboratively defining a clear and concise definition of done. The definition of done is a critical concept in Agile methodologies, especially Scrum. It is a shared understanding among the development team about what it means for work to be complete on a product increment. An incomplete or unclear definition of done directly leads to confusion, rework, and quality issues. The most effective immediate action is for the Scrum Master to facilitate the team in collaboratively creating a clear, concise, and mutually agreed-upon definition of done, which will then be applied consistently across all future work to improve quality and reduce rework. This empowers the team and ensures a shared understanding of quality. Question 18. A large, multi-year project is experiencing significant scope creep. New features are constantly being added, often without formal approval, due to direct requests from various stakeholders to individual team members. The project manager is overwhelmed and struggling to maintain control. Which project management tool or process should the project manager immediately reinforce to address this issue? I. Implement a stricter quality assurance process. B. Conduct more frequent team meetings. C. Reinforce the integrated change control process. D. Delegate more decision-making authority to the team. Answer, C. Reinforce the integrated change control process. Scope creep, especially from unapproved changes, is a direct indicator that the integrated change control process is not being effectively enforced. The integrated change control process is critical for reviewing all change requests, approving them, or rejecting them, and managing changes to deliverables, organizational process assets, and project management plans. By reinforcing this process, the project manager ensures that all proposed changes, regardless of their source, are formally evaluated for their impact on the project baselines before being implemented, thus preventing unauthorized additions to the project's scope. Question 19. A project manager is conducting a performance review of the project and finds that the estimate to complete, ETC, is significantly higher than originally planned, primarily due to unforeseen technical challenges. The project's budget at completion, BAC, is fixed. Which of the following formulas represents the estimate at completion, EAC, based on the assumption that the remaining work will be performed at the budgeted rate? I. EAC equals BAC/CPI. B. EAC equals AC plus etc. C. EAC equals AC plus, BAC, EV. D. EAC equals AC plus, BAC, EV, /CPI * SPI. Answer, C. EAC equals AC plus, BAC, EV. This formula for estimate at completion, EAC, is used when the assumption is that the remaining work will be performed at the budgeted rate, and any variances experienced to date are atypical. In this scenario, AC, actual cost, represents the cost incurred so far, BAC, budget at completion, is the total planned budget, and EV, earned value, is the value of the work performed. The term, BAC, EV, represents the remaining budget of the work yet to be completed. Therefore, adding the actual cost to the remaining budget gives the EAC based on this specific assumption. Question 20. A project team is highly experienced and self-organizing. The project manager's role has shifted from directing tasks to facilitating collaboration and removing impediments. This shift aligns most closely with which Agile concept? I. Command and control. B. Servant leadership. C. Micromanagement. D. Waterfall methodology. Answer, B. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is a core concept in Agile methodologies, where the leader prioritizes the growth, well-being, and empowerment of their team members. Instead of directing and controlling, a servant leader focuses on supporting the team, removing obstacles, and providing the resources they need to succeed and self-organize. This contrasts sharply with command and control, micromanagement, or traditional waterfall approaches where direction is typically top-down. The project manager's shift to facilitation and impediment removal is a direct embodiment of servant leadership, fostering a more autonomous and effective team environment. Question 21. A critical software development project is encountering frequent delays because different development teams are using incompatible tools and processes, leading to integration issues at the end of each phase. The project manager needs to address this inconsistency. Which aspect of the development approach and life cycle performance domain is most relevant to resolving this issue? I. Iteration and release planning. B. Tailoring the life cycle. C. Measuring velocity. D. Establishing a minimum viable product, MVP. Answer, B. Tailoring the life cycle. The development approach and life cycle performance domain emphasizes choosing and adapting the appropriate life cycle for a project. Tailoring the life cycle specifically refers to the process of adapting the project's life cycle, processes, tools, and methods to the unique characteristics of the project and the organization. Inconsistent tools and processes across teams indicate a lack of proper tailoring or standardization, leading to integration issues. By tailoring the life cycle, the project manager can establish consistent approaches, tools, and governance across all teams, thereby resolving integration challenges. Question 22. The project sponsor has requested an urgent update on the project's overall health and forecasted completion date. The project manager has access to the latest earned value data. The project has a budget at completion, BASI, of $1 million, an earned value, EV, of $400,000, and an actual cost, ASI, of $500,000. The current CPI is 0.80. Assuming future work will be performed at the same rate of efficiency as the work completed so far, what is the estimate at completion, EASI? I. $1 million. B. $1,250,000. C. $1,100,000. D. $1,500,000. Answer, B. $1,250,000. When assuming that future work will be performed at the same rate of efficiency as the work completed so far, the formula for estimate at completion, EASI, is BAC/CPI. Given a budget at completion, BASI, of $1 million and a cost performance index, CPI, of 0.80, the calculation is $1 million divided by 0.80, which results in $1,250,000. This indicates that at the current rate of spending, the project is expected to cost $1,250,000 to complete, signifying it is projected to be over its original budget. Question 23. A project team is experiencing low morale and decreased productivity. During a private conversation, a team member confides in the project manager about interpersonal conflicts within the team, which are affecting their ability to collaborate effectively. Which conflict resolution technique should the project manager initially consider? I. Forcing/directing. B. Compromising/reconciling. C. Collaborating/problem solving. D. Smoothing/accommodating. Answer, C. Collaborating/problem solving. Collaborating, also known as problem solving, is the preferred conflict resolution technique in project management, especially when dealing with interpersonal issues that impact team morale and productivity. This technique involves openly discussing the issues, understanding different viewpoints, and working together to find a solution that satisfies all parties. It fosters mutual respect and strengthens relationships, leading to a more sustainable resolution. Forcing or smoothing might offer temporary relief but do not address the underlying problems, while compromising may not lead to the optimal solution for all. Always strive for a win-win solution through open dialogue. Question 24. A project manager is managing a complex IT infrastructure upgrade. A critical server component needs to be procured from a specialized vendor who is the sole provider in the market. The project manager needs to ensure that the terms and conditions are favorable and the delivery schedule is met. What type of procurement contract is least likely to be used in this situation, given the vendor's unique position? I. Fixed price contract. B. Cost plus fixed fee, CPFF, contract. C. Time and materials, T&M, contract. D. Cost plus incentive fee, CPIF, contract. Answer, I. Fixed price contract. A fixed price contract places most of the risk on the seller, as they agree to a set price regardless of their actual costs. In a situation where there is only one specialized vendor, the buyer has limited leverage, and the vendor may be unwilling to accept the significant risk associated with a fixed price contract, especially for a critical or complex component. Cost reimbursable contracts, like CPFF or CPIF, or time and materials, T&M, contracts are more likely in such scenarios, as they share or place more risk on the buyer, which is often necessary when dealing with sole source suppliers or high uncertainty. Question 25. An Agile team has just completed its sprint review. During the review, stakeholders provided significant feedback on several features, some of which require substantial changes to the implemented solution. The product owner acknowledges the feedback. What is the primary purpose of the sprint review in handling this feedback? I. To formally accept or reject the completed increment. B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. C. To update the stakeholders on the team's velocity and burn-down charts. D. To approve the work for the upcoming sprint. Answer, B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. The sprint review is a key event in Scrum where the team presents the completed increment to stakeholders, and together they inspect the outcome of the sprint. Its primary purpose is to gather feedback and determine potential adjustments to the product backlog based on the inspection. This collaborative meeting allows for a review of what was done, a discussion of what has changed in the environment, and a reprioritization of future work. The feedback received informs the product owner, who then updates the product backlog to reflect these adaptations, ensuring the product continues to align with evolving needs. Question 26. A project manager is tasked with establishing a consistent method for evaluating project performance and making data-driven decisions. The organization wants to move beyond subjective assessments and rely on objective metrics. Which PMBOK's seventh performance domain would be most central to achieving this goal? I. Delivery performance domain. B. Planning performance domain. C. Measurement performance domain. D. Uncertainty performance domain. Answer, C. Measurement performance domain. The measurement performance domain focuses on evaluating the project's performance and taking appropriate actions to maintain acceptable performance. This domain involves establishing effective metrics, collecting data, analyzing performance trends, and making informed decisions based on objective criteria. Its core purpose is to provide insights into project progress and deviations, enabling the project manager to identify areas for improvement and ensure the project stays on track. Therefore, establishing consistent, objective methods for evaluation falls directly under the purview of the measurement performance domain. Question 27. The project team has successfully delivered all major components of a new software system. However, during the final integration testing, a critical bug is discovered that prevents the system from going live. The project manager realizes that the existing quality assurance processes were insufficient to catch this type of defect earlier. What is the most appropriate long-term action the project manager should take? I. Issue a change request to extend the project schedule for bug fixes. B. Document the bug and its resolution in the lessons learned register. C. Review and revise the project's quality management plan to improve testing processes. D. Delegate the bug fixing to a specialized external consulting team. Answer: C. Review and revise the project's quality management plan to improve testing processes. Discovering a critical bug late in the project due to insufficient quality assurance processes indicates a systemic issue, not just an isolated defect. While fixing the bug and documenting lessons learned are important short-term actions, the most appropriate long-term action is to address the root cause by reviewing and revising the project's quality management plan. This involves improving testing processes, potentially adding new quality activities or strengthening existing ones, to prevent similar critical defects from recurring in future phases or projects. This proactive approach ensures continuous process improvement and enhances overall project quality. Question 28. A project manager is leading a project where the stakeholders have a very high degree of influence and often introduce changes that impact the project's scope and schedule. The project manager needs to prioritize engagement strategies to manage these stakeholders effectively. According to the power/interest grid, how should high-power, high-interest stakeholders be managed? I. Keep satisfied. B. Monitor. C. Keep informed. D. Manage closely. Answer: D. Manage closely. The power/interest grid is a common tool for stakeholder analysis. For stakeholders with high power and high interest, the recommended engagement strategy is to manage closely. These stakeholders have both the ability to significantly influence the project and a strong vested interest in its outcomes, making their active and close engagement crucial. This involves actively involving them in decision-making, ensuring their needs are continuously understood, and proactively communicating with them to prevent issues and gain their sustained support. Failing to manage them closely can lead to significant project risks. Question 29. A project manager is developing the project schedule and needs to estimate the duration of an activity with limited historical data. Experts provide 3 estimates. Optimistic, O, equals 4 days, pessimistic, P, equals 16 days, and most likely, M, equals 7 days. Using the program evaluation and review technique, PERT, 3-point estimate, what is the expected duration of this activity? I. 7 days. B. 8 days. C. 9 days. D. 10 days. Answer: B. 8 days. The PERT, Program Evaluation and Review Technique, 3-point estimate uses a weighted average formula to calculate the expected activity duration, optimistic plus 4*, most likely plus pessimistic, /6. In this case, optimistic, O, is 4 days, most likely, M, is 7 days, and pessimistic, P, is 16 days. Applying these values, the calculation results in an expected duration of 8 days. This method provides a more realistic estimate by giving more weight to the most likely duration, which helps account for uncertainty in activity estimates. Question 30. During a sprint retrospective, an Agile team identifies that their continuous integration server is frequently failing, causing delays and frustration. The team proposes investigating and implementing a more robust solution. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master to take regarding this impediment? I. Instruct the team to prioritize other tasks until the server issue is resolved by IT. B. Facilitate the team's discussion to create a plan of action and ensure the impediment is addressed. C. Add a story to the product backlog for the product owner to prioritize. D. Document the issue and wait for management to assign resources for resolution. Answer, B. Facilitate the team's discussion to create a plan of action and ensure the impediment is addressed. The Scrum Master's role as a servant leader includes removing impediments that hinder the team's progress. While an impediment like a failing server might require external support, the Scrum Master should first facilitate the team's discussion during the retrospective to brainstorm solutions and create a plan of action. The Scrum Master then helps to ensure this plan is executed, either by directly resolving the impediment or by escalating it and coordinating with relevant parties, like IT, on behalf of the team. This empowers the team and ensures their productivity is restored. Question 31. A project manager is initiating a new project in an organization that heavily relies on existing templates, standardized processes, and historical project data. These assets are readily available and widely used across various departments. These organizational resources are collectively known as what? I. Enterprise Environmental Factors, EFs. B. Organizational Process Assets, OPAs. C. Project Management Information System, PMIS. D. Expert Judgment. Answer, B. Organizational Process Assets, OPAs. Organizational Process Assets, OPAs, are the plans, processes, policies, procedures, and knowledge bases specific to and used by the performing organization. These include templates, standardized processes, guidelines, procedures, and historical information, like lessons learned from previous projects. OPAs are crucial inputs for many project management processes as they provide a framework and resources for how project work is performed, influencing project success and efficiency. Enterprise Environmental Factors, EFs, on the other hand, are conditions not under the immediate control of the project team but which influence, constrain, or direct the project. Question 32. A project is being managed using an adaptive approach. At the end of a delivery cycle, stakeholders are satisfied with the product increment, but some team members express concerns about the lack of long-term strategic planning and the feeling of constantly reacting to immediate needs. This situation indicates a potential imbalance. Which performance domain is crucial for addressing these concerns by integrating strategic foresight with agile responsiveness? I. Project Work Performance Domain. B. Planning Performance Domain. C. Delivery Performance Domain. D. Team Performance Domain. Answer, B. Planning Performance Domain. The planning performance domain is essential for balancing short-term agile responsiveness with long-term strategic direction. While adaptive approaches emphasize flexibility and iterative development, robust planning is still necessary at various levels: strategic, release, and iteration. This domain involves developing a comprehensive approach to project management that considers the entire project lifecycle, ensuring alignment with organizational objectives and facilitating proactive decision-making. Addressing the team's concerns about a lack of long-term strategic planning directly falls within the scope of the planning performance domain, which aims to integrate different levels of planning for effective project execution. Question 33. A project manager needs to determine if a project should continue based on its financial viability. The project has an initial investment of $100,000 and is expected to generate net cash inflows of $30,000 in year 1, $40,000 in year 2, and $50,000 in year 3. What is the cumulative payback period for this project? I. 2 years. B. 5 years. C. 3 years. D. 5 years. Answer, B. 5 years. The payback period determines how long it takes for a project to generate enough cumulative cash inflows to cover its initial investment. In this scenario, after year 1, $30,000 is recovered. By the end of year 2, an additional $40,000 is recovered, bringing the total to $70,000 against the $100,000 initial investment. This leaves $30,000 still outstanding. Since year 3 is expected to generate $50,000, it would take a portion of that year's cash flow to cover the remaining $30,000. This calculation results in a payback period of approximately 6 years, making 5 years the closest available option. Understanding the cumulative cash flow helps determine the project's financial break-even point. Question 34. A project manager is leading a global virtual team. Team members are located in different time zones, speak different primary languages, and have varying cultural norms. The project manager needs to foster effective communication and collaboration. Which of the following is the most critical challenge the project manager must actively address in this context? I. Ensuring all team members have access to the latest communication technology. B. Standardizing a single working language for all project communications. C. Overcoming cultural and linguistic barriers to prevent misunderstandings. D. Establishing strict meeting schedules to accommodate all time zones. Answer: C. Overcoming cultural and linguistic barriers to prevent misunderstandings. In a global virtual team, while technology and time zones are important considerations, the most critical challenge for effective communication and collaboration lies in overcoming cultural and linguistic barriers. Different cultural norms influence communication styles, decision-making, and conflict resolution, while language differences can lead to misinterpretations and frustration. Actively addressing these barriers through cultural awareness training, clear communication guidelines, and facilitating a respectful environment is crucial to building trust and ensuring shared understanding among diverse team members. Prioritize building bridges across cultural divides to enhance team cohesion and productivity. Question 35. The project manager has just completed the Determine Budget process. The output of this process includes the project budget, but it also defines management reserves and contingency reserves. What is the primary purpose of the management reserve? I. To cover identified risks that have a specific response planned. B. To account for unknown risks that may impact the project. C. To fund unexpected scope changes requested by the customer. D. To allocate resources for quality assurance activities. Answer: B. To account for unknown risks that may impact the project. Management reserves are a specific component of the project budget held by management for unforeseen work that is within scope but was not specifically planned for, often referred to as unknown risks. Unlike contingency reserves, which are for known unknown risks, identified risks with planned responses, management reserves are not included in the project cost baseline but are part of the overall project budget. Accessing management reserves typically requires a change request and approval from management. They provide a buffer against truly unexpected events, ensuring the project can absorb significant impacts without immediate rebaselining.